What's going on, everybody? The Greg Cranfill Show is back for another week. We are 1-0. The show itself and the football team
That's
is
right.
1-0.
Right.
So it's a good start to the season. Joshua Cook, along with the head coach of those St. Pius X Panthers, Greg Cranfill, coming off a nice 46-0 win against Lutheran North this past week. But Coach, before we get to the football, we got to talk about this. After the game, you were seen talking to the team. You had the cheerleaders there, the students there. They were fired up, and I think you kind of said something. I couldn't really hear it. It's like, but this is where our program's going. We're making those steps, and it seemed like the St. Pius community is starting to really pick up. Did you feel that on Friday night with the students and the band and everything kind of getting back together?
Absolutely. And what I actually told them was the fact that when I got hired here, I told the committee and everybody around that we were going to do this thing together, from every student population group that's imaginable, and every fan base that we could have. I wanted to do it together. And that Friday night, man, it was just a different vibe in the fact of I could feel just the sense of power coming from that stands, whether it came from our band or our Pantherettes or our cheerleaders or our student group. It's a great feeling to have, to know that those kids are out there playing their hearts out, and there are people in the stands that are screaming their hearts out as well. It's all like one heartbeat, if you know what I mean. So,
and it had to feel a little different because, I mean, last season was so, at the beginning, it was so COVID regulated, and the fans and the stands, and which, of course, COVID is still going on. We still have to be safe,
sure.
But a little different feeling, a more Friday Night Lights feeling, I feel like, to start the year.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we felt coming from those stands, a student group, a student population, a whole entire school, a whole community of people that were ready for the excitement of Friday night. And they helped stirring it up, and it was fun. So also
it's always fun.
It was 54, not 46.
Oh, I'm sorry, 54-0.
That's all right.
I shorted you a touchdown.
I know. So.
I get the mulligan here on a Monday morning.
Haven't
had the coffee yet. So 54-0 win.
Plus you have 1,000 games that you think about, and I have one. So.
So let's talk about some of your players. Your Raising Cane's Caniac Offensive Player of the Week, Logan Tanner, 6 catches for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he looks like a D1 kid, San Diego State right there.
Yeah, absolutely. He actually had 3 touchdowns. One of them was called back to an excessive celebration by someone other than him. And so, we talk about that with our kids. That's the draw from the game. You and I talked about last week what we were going into this game thinking, and it was a lot about what we needed to do. And there are some things that may get overlooked in a 54-0 victory, but we told our kids we will coach the first week exactly like we will coach the state championship game, and that is that the standard will always be the standard. It has nothing to do with the scoreboard, and how we play and how we represent this amazing school is what we're after. So those little things aren't little things to us; those matter. But yeah, Logan had a great night. We put him in some situations to allow him to do what he does best, and that's get the ball in open field. And, the quarterbacks made some great throws. Cale Skinner steps up in the pocket on Logan's first touchdown and makes it just a dime of a throw right to him. And then come back, and Bryce McKeon and Cale actually hit him a couple more times down the road. So it was a group effort, and I was proud of our offensive line. Returning 4 of the 5 from last year is a big deal, but how they played up front, giving us time to make those throws and to run the ball like we did was a huge deal. So I was proud of our offensive line.
Yeah, your offensive line, talking about them, a nice stat for them, 0 sacks allowed on the night.
The first time we dropped back and passed True's 4-step, Bryce got hit, and the ball deflected and Lolo caught it. So stat line, it looks like, we were clean. We actually, had to make some movements, but it was okay. We were, it is the difference between speed of the game, depending on going into week to week, who you're playing against. And I think once we got settled in, we were doing exactly the things that we needed to do.
And then to the defensive side of the ball, you're Raising Cane's Caniac Defensive Player of the Week. No surprise here. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Carson Hens, 3 solo tackles, 9 assisted, 2 tackles for loss on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, like we've said from day one, he's the start of that. He's everything on our defense starts with Carson. By putting us in the right alignment and adjustments that we need to make and calls that we need to make, and then he's got to go play, and he does all that exceptionally well. So real proud of Carson's first week. And also, he's as critical on himself as any coach could be. So he knows that even though he played well, he can get better, and that's what he's after from this morning's meeting on through the game Friday night. So.
And then your other 2 awards given out for this week, Special Teams Player of the Week goes to Pierce Hayes, 3 solos on kickoff coverage, and then Scout Team Player of the Week, Tristan Acuna, gets that award.
Yeah, Pierce actually starts for us at safety and graded out at 90. So played exceptionally well with us at safety. And then just because he's such a great open field tackler, we put him on special teams, and he did just that. Today, this morning, we recognized him this afternoon. I'll show some of the video clips of how Pierce violently tackles. And I told the team, I go, Pierce needs no help in tackling. Some of you guys grab these kids, and you have to have help in order to get people on the ground. I said, but watch how Pierce tackles, because he knows how to get people on the ground. And that's a big deal, especially playing at the safety position or in any special teams situation. Pierce does his job, and he does it well. So we're proud of him. And then Tristan does a great job, getting beat up by our offensive line as a defensive lineman, but then got in on Friday night with us and scrapped it up with the best of them. So proud of what Tristan's done this week and all throughout his entire career here at St. Pius.
Yeah, you mentioned the defense a little bit. Defensively, we'll start on that side of the ball. 105 total yards allowed, which is nice to see. No points, so you got a clean sheet there. What did you see that on the defensive side of the ball? Even though those are good things, every coach wants to see improvement. What's the improvement? What do they need to get better at this week?
Yeah, it's what we always say, tackling. We've got guys that a good group of guys that can get people on the ground, and then we still got a couple that just hold people up. And I think both of us know when you face those bigger backs or more dynamic runners, that's going to cause trouble. So it's just, like I said, going back to the basics and understanding that today on Monday, we are going to tackle during practice in order to get us ready to, or just a little bit better than we were last week when it comes to that. And I think there's some position stuff that we need to kind of polish out when it comes to understanding what side I'm on. Am I on the now screen side, or am I on the jet sweep side? And just some identification. And it's what we tell our defense all, just breathe. Don't stand out there holding your breath, all tensed up, worried about. Breathe and go back to what you've been taught the whole week. And I think moving forward, that's what we're after.
And the offensive side of the ball, of course, you scored 54 points, which is a nice day at the office. Running game looked good. The passing game, 10 of 19 for 224 yards. Had a couple turnovers on the offensive side of the ball, which I know you probably want to get that cleaned up. 400 total yards of offense. You go 2 for 2 on fourth down conversions. So overall, a pretty good week for the offense. Probably the turnovers you want to see. Did you like what you saw from the offense, and then also kind of touch on the quarterback position, because I know Bryce and Cale were kind of alternating in and out during the game?
Yeah, both of them did an outstanding job coming in and running their packages and controlling the offense. It's a matter of, we talk about our lifeline, and we want to stay as steady. We're never too high and never too low. And what we talk about is when we make personnel changes, does that lifeline stay consistent, or is it dropping or raising? And obviously we'd like to see some of the raises by some of our dynamic players making plays. And I think in quarterback play, just being consistent is the one thing. And I think both of them did that. Bryce went, Bryce had like 3 drops out of his passes that could have flipped his percentage dramatically. stat line that doesn't look so good, but when you watch video, you go, okay, he's doing the things that he needs to do. And like I mentioned before, Cale has the ability to run the football, with some uniqueness about him that allows him that dual threat possibility. So we like where both of them are. We like what both of them can do, and we know that both of them still have room to get better, and that's what we're hoping.
So this week you take on Dallas Christian, who was preseason, I think, ranked number 6 in the state of Texas. They took on Bishop Lynch last week, and Bishop Lynch, of course, I think won that game in the second half of that ball game. Just talk about Dallas Christian, the challenges that they bring, and what you want to see your team do against them this week.
Yeah, Dallas Christian actually won the game pretty big.
Won the game. Okay, I was backwards. I was backwards.
No, yeah, it was a tight game in the first half, and then Dallas Christian put it on them in the second half. Watching video, it's what you don't hope to see, but it really is there. You're going, well, maybe they're not as good as that number 6 ranking, but that's not true. They are. They're a very talented, well-coached group of kids that know how to make plays. They're going to come at you high intensity on defense, and they've got players all over the field offensively that can make plays. But we feel like it all comes back down to us. Getting the ball into the people's hands that we need to have running and catching the ball. And then on defensively, we've got to work together, do things together, and we've got to tackle. Guys like Nathaniel Lolo, who came in, had 5 carries for 105 yards and 2 catches for 18 more yards. And it's that type of dynamics that every time he touches the ball, that there's a chance that he can score. And obviously we mentioned Logan. We've got guys like Jackson Mobley and Vincent Doucette. Our true tailback, Minton Lewis, who can carry the rock as well. He's got power and he's got speed. And then we take our main man, Burke Battenfield, from the defensive side every once in a while and let him come over and run the football. And he scored twice last week. So we feel like we've got to be able to do that, those types of things through committee-wise, and that's going to allow us the opportunities down the road to hang with some tougher opponents. And this week is no easy pass by any means. This will be one of the toughest teams we play all year.
Is it nice to get a team this early in the season because you can kind of measure the bar where you're at comparatively to that team, and then also to see if your team comes up to that bar of like a number 6 team in the state? Absolutely,
and that's exactly why we did it. Also, and the way that the private school system works, that there is travel so much. There's no meet in the middle when it comes to the playoffs. So once we get further along in the playoffs, a trip to Dallas may be something that we have to do. So why not go ahead and get that done so that we've already done that. We know what the plan is. We know exactly how we're going to handle that type of situation. And like you said, to play an outstanding football team, to see where we are. We've got 3 non-district games, and then it's time to go. So we've got to figure out real quick. And I think these next 2 weeks will give us a true test of where we are as a football team and where we can go as a program.
Speaking right now with Greg Cranfill, head coach of the St. Pius X Panthers. Before we wrap up the show, I know, Coach, last week you had Muffins with Moms again.
Yes, sir.
What was the winning muffin this time? What's your go-to? I can't remember from last year. I know mine's banana nut, but I know there's also chocolate chip and blueberry and everything.
I didn't even look at them, man. The kids did a great job. They put a presentation together where they read letters to their moms. We put a presentation, put some music to it and everything like that. So all the moms were mad at me because their mascaras were running, and that's okay, because that's what I told them, that life is about moments. You hear me say that all the time, but life is about moments. And we hope to give these kids special moments at St. Pius, not just necessarily always on the football field, but more importantly in life with their families. And, we did it with decals with dads and now muffins with moms, and just surrounding them with love and letting them know wherever they go that they're going to be taken care of as long as they're a part of that St. Pius family. And it's great. Principal Ware was there, and it's good for them to see powerful women in place, whether it comes to their mothers, whether it comes to top line business owners, and just to see that this world is run by women. You know what I mean? In the fact of how much they love us and take care of us. I challenge the kids on a daily basis, never be ashamed to go tell your parents or your loved ones how much you care about them. And these kids do that, and it makes me proud to be their coach.
Yeah, great events over there at St. Pius X. Of course, Muffins for Mom, decals with Dad, all taken care of last week. And, of course, ready for some more football this week as you take on Dallas Christian after a great win. Well, Coach, before we go, any other closing thoughts by the head man of these Panthers?
No, I just – it's an exciting time to be a part of St. Pius. There's a lot of good things going on, not just with football, but, you've got volleyball rolling, you've got cross country rolling. And like I said, there's so many different groups that are doing so many amazing things. And like it's a good time to be a St. Pius 10th Panther, so.
It's good. It definitely is a good time coming off a win last week. Try to get another win this week, and of course, then we'll be back next week. Hopefully, the show and the team 2-0 after another great week of football. So, big thanks to Coach Cranfill. We'll see you again next week here on St. Pius 10th Football with Greg Cranfill.